Hey guys, it's Desk. Welcome back to another YouTube video. Today I will be doing my 5th ever Assetto Corsa replay and the Nissan GTR GT3. I am at Monza again, and funnily enough, something that surprised me about this race. This took place the same day as the last race I had, and it turned out much better in my opinion. I'm starting in 5th place, and just kind of idle here as the game session has not started yet. Players are still joining, similar to the last race as well. Pretty big pack. If I had to guess, it says out of 18 players here, so I guess there's 18 of us. And just before the race begins, a few more players join as well. But yeah, I get my driver controls, set my throttle, and we're green. Comparatively, I get a okay start. Up front here, I'm kind of on level with everybody, though some people from the rear got a better start, so as you can see, this Ferrari kind of gets behind me here. Could have also seen some smoke there at the very back. I'm unsure of what happened there. Turns into a little bit of a bumper cart scene at the very beginning, but we get there okay. No smoke, no chaos, no restarts. Another car spins out in the rear, which luckily gives me the opportunity to have my own little free time here as I settle into the race, which I think was very beneficial for me. It seems that I can kind of get caught in the panic of the race, so that definitely gave me room to breathe. Through that turn, got a run on the BMW. I didn't pass him when in narrow, got a bad run. Had to narrowly avoid that BMW that was off the track, which gives the Porsche the upper hand, as he did not have to swerve out of the way. But yeah, I think out of that third turn, I did bump into that BMW and sent him a bit wide. But I give the Porsche that position. I go in a little bit wide, which allows this Mercedes to get the upper hand here. I'm checking my mirrors again. A little nervous. I kind of go half defensive here, and then I decide to back out. He does bump me a little bit. I think he went a little bit wide, or maybe he had a better racing line and just didn't know I'd break that early. It's a very common thing that happens. Regardless, I catch back up to this BMW here. Rodrigo behind me is still here. We're all kind of caught in the draft of each other, slowly pulling in. I stay to the outside a little bit, or the inside rather. We get into a little bit of an odd entanglement with the BMW, but he does let me through, and the Mercedes here also goes through. And I can't tell the amount of glare, but I'm pretty sure that Mercedes is furious. He's been flashing his headlights for an entire third of a lap now, just waiting for me to let him through, but that day never came. I know that was a common thing with the last race. I didn't want to cause any problems, and oftentimes if the player was faster than me, I just let them through. Once again, I can't exactly tell if he was flashing his headlights at me, but he will get his opportunity now to get past me as I do go wide. And I believe as he does get beside me, I do let him through. Yeah, I back off the throttle a little bit, brake a little safely. The BMW brakes way too late, it seems. Nearly crashes into me, but we make it through okay. But yeah, I am unsure if Rodrigo, that is ahead of me now, was flashing his lights at me, but I definitely was more confident on timing to let people go or not. And one of the things I may have been doing is waiting for a better time to pass, because there are certain points of the track where it is more difficult than other places to pass. I didn't want to cause an accident trying to let someone through. But for a little bit of the race here, after I let the Mercedes pass me here, it did kind of facade back to how the previous race went, where I let somebody pass and over time they just faded into the distance. The only thing that is different though is there is more action coming after this, just a little bit, and I do manage to stay with the Mercedes a little bit more, which maybe he was on my level, maybe I was a bit more consistent. I do notice I seem to make less big errors here in this race, and I do seem to be a little bit more confident on the track, so I'm sure that helped quite a bit. But yes, as you can see, slowly pulling away 10th by 10th, but I am still trying to keep with them. At this point I am motivated to continue the race in a positive attitude. Seems I got off on my braking there. I go a little bit wide. Do manage to stay on the track though. Everything turns out okay. Not sure if Rodrigo also made a mistake, but I did not lose much time for that mistake. But as we delve into a bit of a quiet period of the race here, I do hope everyone's week has gone well. I will say I am quite surprised I actually did get up and record this eventually, do a voiceover. We have a new racer join the grid, Rizzo. Get past him. Felix Thompson here. He will be a reoccurring component as well. Seems to have been a mistake, lets us through. Driving in the Audi V8 Plus, I believe. Audi RA V10 Plus, that's what it is. I make a big mistake there. Managed to keep it together, don't get off the track, but that does give Felix a little bit of closer distance to me, and the McLaren spins out here with Samurai. I get another position. At this point I might be 4th, 5th place, perhaps. Somewhere in that range. Top 10 for sure. And with that costly mistake, to turn to go, Rodrigo also does continuously pull away from me. But, as I mentioned, a number of things will happen as the race continues on, though I never pass Rodrigo again. Probably due to not taking the turns as best as I could. It does seem that Felix kind of starts catching back up to me. As I go through this turn, he kind of falls off again. And had a little bit of an awkward moment with him actually later, which we'll get to. But yeah, hopefully everyone's had a nice weekend, weekend. I am actually enjoying incorporating this hobby of mine back into my weekly schedule of sorts. I think I oversteered here, put too much power down too soon. I almost spin out. Felix is back on my rear again. And I believe you can see him flashing his lights here, which I take note of. I don't give him the position yet. Make it through this turn safely. Probably due to nervousness, I do hit the curbs a little bit aggressively, which gets Felix even closer. And it was at this point, I was like, okay, I need to let him pass. So I brake here, and as soon as I get on the exit, I go to the right side of the track. And I go to half throttle here, trying to let him pass, but he doesn't seem to want to go. So I keep going, kind of confused here, not exactly sure what to do. Go through this turn, overshoot it a little bit. Felix behind definitely gets a better run. And again, Felix is obviously faster than me. I try to let him pass. I'm just trying to make it through the race. This time I cut off all throttle to signal I'm letting him take it. He still doesn't take it. Really confused, kind of getting irritated at this point. I just decide to keep my position and ignore him. It does seem like he tries to pass, but once again, not fully going through and letting off at the very end. So, really unsure and confused about what was going on. Kidzania comes up again, or comes up for the first time. That's the third car that has entered the track since the race started on my end. And as you can see there, Felix completely disappears, as race cars do. All pressure is relieved. Very weird happenstance. I'm really not sure what was happening there. So once again, Rodrigo up ahead. He's now 9 seconds and decreasing for whatever reason up ahead. And I just try to maintain my composure as best as I can. One thing I will say is go a little bit wide there, make a terrible mistake. First major mistake, kind of upsetting for how good I felt my pace was. But decided to keep going. And I think at this point I was still happy with how I had done up until that point and compared to my previous race. But yeah, towards the last 2-ish laps of this race, this lap and forward, you notice how the people ahead of me seem to be quite far away, and then all of a sudden I pull in as if there was an accident or maybe too much fighting. I'm really unsure what I was doing here, but I decided to go into the pit on this lap after the crash. I'm not sure how bad the damage was. I could see maybe if I had suspension damage and I wasn't holding my wheel straight. That's probably why I went to the pits. Of course, it's hard to tell because on the screen you can see me pointing my wheel normally, but you can't see how I'm having to steer the wheel in real life to align that properly. So perhaps an alignment issue with the suspension. That's the only thing I can imagine. But even with that said, it didn't take me that long to repair. So whatever the damage was must have not been that bad, and it makes me wonder if I could have stayed out the entire race. Regardless, we have a greeting from Moist A-Hole, as you can see here. Quite the username. Cameo of sorts, perhaps. But once again, as you can see here, 16 seconds till the person ahead of me. Kind of upset. Decide to keep in it though. And one thing I did notice, and may have contributed to me driving a lot better, was I feel like Nissan GTR is a lot more grounded in terms of stability compared to the Lamborghini I drove in my last replay. And maybe I felt more comfortable driving this car rather than the Lamborghini at this point in time, which definitely proved an advantage, as I feel like I made a lot less mistakes. I felt a lot more confident as I jinxed myself once again. Make a mistake there. But yeah, with all that said, On the first third of the track, it said I was 40 seconds off from Kidsania, but now I'm down to the 20s. Coming out of the straight, I get down to about 16, 15. And in the following sectors, you'll be able to see the cars from a distance. So I'm not sure what was going on up ahead. It really seemed like this would be all there would come from the race, but it did seem I was catching on people as I went. But of course, that's the braking zones are included in that, so maybe the time added on to the braking zones made it look worse than it really was. But at the corner of the screen there, you could see Martin's up ahead, and on the map there you can see two people, Martin and Kidzania, tagging along with each other. But yeah, second to last lap, 2/3 of the way through, just about, kind of just hanging in there. I also did mention a live recording of a go-karting session I had in my last video. I did want to upload that. I kind of realized I probably wouldn't be able to get to it just because I started recording, doing all of that today, Sunday. So maybe if I remember to take initiative, get out there Wednesday. As you can see, the Ferrari just flies and almost takes to the moon there on the right. I'm on my last, or this was the last lap, I believe. Hopefully I will be able to get to that karting video this upcoming week. But yeah, that's the end of the race. If I had to estimate, I probably placed around top 7th. But that's about it. Thank you for watching.